What's up, pirates? It's your homeboy GM for One Piece chapter 908. Sorry I wasn't there yesterday. I was babysitting my niece, and I gotta tell you, this requires a lot of attention and energy, especially when she's 2 years old. Before I start this review, let me just remind you that it is very important to encourage the manga industry by purchasing the official releases because a lot of people put their hard work to make those happen. You can find them online at your local bookstore, or better yet, if you even download the digital versions legally, they are even cheaper. This chapter is just a mind-blowing fest of information. Right now, at the beginning of the Reverie, King Cobra, Vivi, Dalton, Shirashoshi, Neptune, all those good kings that we know that have been friends with Luffy, they have one ally in this whole thing so far. It's of course Joe's guard, Donkey Sword. He is the only Celestial Dragon that has a heart that is human, and having that on their side is more than important. Like I said in my previous review, he's the kind of guy that he's willing to help. He's willing to change the mentality of the Celestial Dragons. Apparently, we got some information in this chapter that he is the only Celestial Dragon that doesn't have any slaves. So you can see how the effect of Otoime, Neptune's wife, really changed them for the better. On the other hand, considering that he has a different point of view regarding how to be a better person towards the world, it might attract him some hate from his other Celestial Dragon brethren. And hopefully he doesn't get cast out in the long run. I wouldn't be surprised if that would happen. But as as long as he is in power right now, he is a Celestial Dragon, so he has power. As long as that is possible, there is hope for many things that can befall on the good kings that are friends with Luffy. And uh, like I said, having a Celestial Dragon on your side, it's big, it's enormous. Kuma and Bonnie. Kuma, wow, what the fuck? The guy, we knew he was a Shichibukai. We knew he was member of the Revolutionary Army, but he was a king. Wow, he was the king of a kingdom named Solbe. I'm guessing that it's a twisted word for sorbet, the dessert. So, anyways, we meet the queen mother, Connie, who apparently was there for the reverie, but turns out that Coney is actually Bonnie, like from the worst generation. Like we haven't seen her in a long time. I mean, we had many rumors that she was a daughter of Big Mom, and I think it's still possible that she actually is, but that's another conversation for another time. Uh, and when she sees how Kuma was, she feels, very sad to see him and angry at the world government for treating him as such. Now, what led Kuma to be as such? To be now a slave for the Celestial Dragons? Yeah, he was a Shichibukai, so everything was great on that side. He was a member of the Revolutionary Army. Maybe that got discovered, and he knew that his time was short. Actually, it explains a lot what he did on the Sabaudi Islands when he told Riley and Shabby. Was it Shabby or Shady? I don't remember the name of that girl. I think it was something like that. But anyways, you know who I'm talking about. So she told to she no sorry Kuma told Riley that he didn't have enough time, and what he had to do to the Straw Hats, that was the only way to save them. So it wouldn't rouse any suspicion. And he was the guy who safeguarded the Thousand Sunny for 2 years from other pirates that wanted to rob the ship. So I think that Vegapunk had something to do with that. He probably annihilated the remaining humanity that he has inside of him, and turned into a slave for the Celestial Dragons. Needless to say, he was king. So Coney is definitely, Boney is definitely related to this kingdom as well. Um, one thing that I am wondering, how old is Boney actually? Because we know that she has the ability to change her her physical appearances and her age. She can look like a grandma, just like she can look like a 4-year-old kid. So, to be honest, how old is this woman? And more importantly, can she live forever? Because look, like if she wanted just to live forever, she could just be 4-year old. Like for example, she could be just 10 years old forever. But again, that's a complicated question. But if she is like, I hope like if it's just a ship shifting something ability that made her look like the Queen Mother, okay, I guess she's not really related to the kingdom. Sorry, that was my cell phone. I always forget to turn that little piece. But yeah, so I have a feeling that Bone is really related to that kingdom, and if she is royalty as well, it's not surprised that she infiltrated uh, the palace of the Celestial Dragon, for some vengeance. With that said, could she meet Sabo on could she meet Sabo at the same time? I mean, it would make a great team up, considering that Sabo is already pissed at what happened to Kuma, and he's pretty much there to save him as well. Overall, I think that Kuma, his hidden plan that he had, saving the Straw Hats, guarding their ship, and the fact that he was a member of the Revolutionary Army. I think that all of those elements got him caught, and because of that, he ended up being a slave for the Celestial Dragon. The reverie is actually starting now. The kings and queens are all gathered and all that, and I caught a glimpse of some conversation that we're about to start. Wano, we know that Wano is not part of the government alliance, and it is considered as a lawful state. And this is something very interesting. We know that Zoro and the other members of the Straw Hats are actually there, trying to see and assess the situation regarding Kaido and everybody else. And Luffy will join, and the others will join him to face Kaido together. Now, I feel this is what's gonna happen. Okay, um, right now, Wano is not part of the government alliance, but like I said many times over, there's going to be a war in One Piece, probably at the beginning of the end of the series. You get this entire kingdom of samurais, of powerful warriors, very powerful warriors. Let's not make that mistake. These guys are extremely powerful. When Kaido is going to be defeated, you know that Luffy, when he defeated Doflamingo, he became the head of an entire fleet. Like even though he didn't want it, the people that saved him, they pledged their loyalty and alliance to this guy, to Luffy, to a guy who saw everybody as equals. What is gonna happen, I believe, is that when Luffy and the others are gonna team up and defeat Kaido, all those people, including Wano, the entire country of Wano, will pledge their alliance and loyalty to Luffy. And that will make him such a that will make him such a dangerous threat to other pirates that they'll have no choice to officially recognize him as the fifth emperor. He's pretty much a fifth emperor at that point. But I am pretty sure that at the end of the Wano arc, it's gonna be a done deal. Luffy probably will become an official fifth emperor. Another king was talking about Luffy and the assassination attempt on Big Mom. Again, so we already see that in the Reverie, too many. I mean, it will last 7 days, all right. But two topics will come a lot: Wano and Luffy, and of course the Big Mom and Kaido. These will pop out at the same time. We see Cobra as well, and Cobra, he's definitely gonna be talking about what happened to him 2 years ago when he was almost overthrown by a crocodile, and probably he is probably gonna talk about the ancient weapons as well. So, and regarding that, Cobra is really in a dangerous situation because now the elders are eyeing him, and the same thing that they did to Kuma. I feel like they're gonna do the same thing to Cobra because we saw, at the end of I mean, at the last few pages of the chapter, the elders were like, his bloodline is the only one who didn't ascend to Marijua after this war during the Blank Century. So they're already categorizing Cobra as a traitor. And Cobra asked for an audience with the Gorosei, the five elders. So I feel like, look, at the end of this arc, Alabasta will be in terrible danger. And now we saw that there was an actual king of the world. His name is Im, and he had a picture of Princess Vivi. So, needless to say, the world government is seeing Alabasta as an enemy. The thing that I can see happening in the near future, Vivi was a member of the Straw Hats, and to be fair, for the Straw Hats, she will always be a member of the Straw Hats. Let's face it, all right? I said it a while before that the Straw Hats needed another female member. The way I see it, Carrot could be that member as well. I mean, she's pretty much part of the crew. What if, to protect Vivi, Cobra sacrifices himself, and in the meantime, Vivi rejoins with the Straw Hat? Because to be fair, like right now, the Straw Hats are pretty much a dangerous force, considering what happened in Dressrosa. So it could be possible that to save them there, to save uh, the heir of the throne of Alabasta, Vivi would have to be exiled to be saved. Cobra, he's not a dumb guy. Ever since what happened in in Alabasta and Crocodile trying to find Pluton, no, sorry, Pluto, one of the ancient weapons. He's not dumb. Like, he has some questions to ask to the world government. Like, how come you let, well, one, how come you let that happen? And two, look, the ancient weapons, you want them, and I want to know, look, how, what's up with that? Because he suffered his country suffered a great deal because of that, and we know that the world government is seeking those weapons to have control. So yeah, the five elders, King Im, um, the five elders were bowing in front of this king, and they said, "Just name us a name, and we'll take care of this." So we know that as soon as he speaks a name, and the way I see it, it's either gonna be Cobra or Vivi, but I'm guessing it's gonna be Cobra. Him and probably his entire kingdom will be either wiped out of the map or just be forced to submit to the world government in a way that it's going to be a government official that will rule the island instead of Cobra or Vivi. So things are going to be very dangerous for these guys. Uh, we saw a very important panel near the end of the chapter. The king, he slashed three pictures: one of Blackbeard, Marshall D. Teach, one of Luffy, and one of Shirashoshi. We know that Shirashoshi is the ancient weapon called Poseidon. Luffy, a carrier of the D, he is destined to do a lot of things in the world. And Marshall D. Teach, the fourth emperor who took the place of Whitebeard. And again, this is a guy who's not only amassing power at a rapid rate, but he's also a guy who is a great threat to everybody, like the other uncles, the other pirates, the Revolutionary Army, and of course the world government. So I think that King Im is aiming at Shirahoshi because I'm pretty sure he knows that she is Poseidon, but right now, I mean, he could step on to capture her, but he has to be careful. So there is so many things like hidden in mystery regarding that, and something I wanted to mention: the previous chapter, Shanks had a talk with the Gorosei, and he wanted to talk about a certain pirate. Um, Could it be that he came to talk about um, Blackbeard? Wouldn't be surprising. The guy is a threat. More than that, I heard a theory that Shanks might be a bad guy actually, and I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, in this world, when you are a pirate, look, there's no well, you can be friends with some people, but at the end of the day, you're all in competition against other pirates. And Luffy even said it during the Punk Hazard arc. If I'm gonna have to be on the top, I know I'm gonna have to beat all of the Yonkos, including Shanks. Um, yeah. So yeah, the fact that Shanks had a conversation with the Gorosei, that really puts a lot of question marks in my mind. For like, seriously, to pull off a meeting like that, look, he must mean something, and he has a role to play. What I am wondering is that certain pirate. It could be Blackbeard, like I previously said, but the problem is, I don't know. I think that he wants to deal with Blackbeard personally. So on that point, I just don't see how. Um, I just don't see how Blackbeard would be a concern for Shanks because Shanks is a Yonko. He can deal with that. Of course, he doesn't want to commit to start a war between Yonkos, but that's gonna start any given time, soon or later. But yeah, so I think that other party wants to talk about. It's probably a hidden figure that we don't know about. It could be Blackbeard. It could be Luffy. It could be anybody else at that point. But it's the fact that he had a conversation with the greatest authority in the world that really worries me a little bit. Because look, I know you're Shanks and all that, but something is fishy in there. And another thing about Shanks, the guy had before Roger, he no after Roger, sorry, he had the straw hat, and that same straw hat he gave it to Luffy. I have a feeling that when Roger came at the end of his adventure, I think that maybe Roger and Shanks had an argument, more like Shanks that was pretty perhaps mad at Roger because he could have done something, but he didn't do it because he wanted to leave that to another generation. And maybe he passed the torch, aka the Straw Hat, to Shanks so he can do something about that. But Shanks perhaps realized that he couldn't do it alone. And maybe that is why he passed that same Straw Hat to Luffy. So, again, there are many hidden variables in this equation, but look, what can I say? This chapter was epic. So look, if you have some theories to share, please share them in the comment section. Comment, rate, subscribe, and look, pirates. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Next week, One Piece is on break. So thank you for watching, and please do me a favor for your homeboy. Take care of yourselves. See ya.